Welcome back to Podcast with a K. I'm your host, Carla with a K. You're listening to 90.1 WECS FM, and I'm joined here on this fine Sunday evening for our season finale by special guest, returning alumni, man, myth, legend, Jorge Cabrera.
Hey, what's up?
Welcome, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, thanks for agreeing to do the show.
Yeah.
I know it was kind of spur of the moment, like, yo, you want to do it? You said bet, and I said, all right, let's go.
Yeah, so I think we were hanging out a few weeks ago, right? We
Yeah.
went to Boxcar?
Mm-hmm.
No, not Boxcar,
Barcade.
Yeah, the Barcade in New Haven.
Yeah.
And it just came up, and we were
Right.
like, let's do it. And
here we are.
here we are.
I'm glad you actually came through to do it, because a lot of people will be like, yo, I want to be on the show. And I'm like, all right, cool. So what do you want to talk about? It's like, oh, I don't know. And I'm like, it's a talk show. You got to talk about something.
Yeah, bring up topics.
Of course. So, yeah, we out here. We always start the show off with a few questions so our listeners can get to know the guests. So for you, I guess they'd be different because you're not like our typical guest, which is, you know, the average student. You've already been through that.
Right.
So instead, I'll ask you, what did you study here and what are you doing now?
Yeah, so I came in 2 years ago, and I did computer science. That was my major. And then I graduated in June.
Mm-hmm.
And now I am working at an insurance company, Travelers, downtown Hartford. So I decided to stay up here.
Amazing.
Doing that now.
So how are you liking it up here?
It's good. It's cold.
Yeah.
It's a lot colder.
Because you're not from Connecticut.
Right. So I'm from North Carolina.
Represent.
Yep.
Shout out to the 336.
Yep. And we actually live like 30 minutes away from each other, right?
That's crazy.
Yep. So
Small world.
small world. But yeah, so it's good though. The summer's a lot different than the winter.
Of course.
Summer's really nice up here. It's nice to have the beach like an hour
Yeah.
away.
As opposed to like the typical 5.
Yeah, like 4-hour drive.
Yeah.
Which you can't really do like a day trip, which you can up
Right.
here. You can just go, come back, have a chill time.
Right.
But yeah, the winter is just brutal.
Yeah, dude.
You know, you get seasonal depression, and
so
it
real.
just sucks. It gets really dark really fast.
Like the sunset's at like 4 now.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah, I get home and it's already dark, so
Right.
it just you
And-
just don't want to do anything.
Exactly. And you go into work early too, so you don't even get to see the sun for that long.
Right. So I go in, the sun's out by the time I go in.
Yeah.
By the time I leave, the sun's already out. Like it's dark. So
Yeah. There's just no winning.
nope.
And I feel like people up here are like, they're more used to it. So like to the like the locals, I guess. It's just like, bro, like chill. Why are you so upset about it? It's just like, no, you don't understand. I need the sun.
Right. No, it's a lot different.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just I think the thing that I miss the most is the food.
Oh, dude, yes.
Right.
The seasoning.
The seasoning, the soul food, it's
Right.
just different. And everything here closes mad early.
Yeah, what's up with that?
It's a shame. Everything closes early, and then have you noticed the stoplights? They just go yellow
Yeah.
like at 7
Yes,
because
you're
nobody's
right.
out on the road anymore.
Right.
I'm like, yo, like what is going on?
It's a whole ghost town as
Yeah.
soon as the sun is gone,
yeah,
dude.
nothing to do.
Absolutely insane. But alas, you're out here living, thriving.
Yeah, it's good. It's a challenge, but
Mhm.
you know, you kind of have to make the best out of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you think you'll stay up here for a while?
Yeah, I think for the time being, it's a good opportunity where I am,
Yeah.
and just trying to take everything in and learn the most that I can.
Yeah.
And then after that, we'll see where it goes.
Right.
I don't really want to make plans,
Of
even though
course.
you kind of you try to make a plan.
Yeah.
To see what you kind of want to do in the future,
Yeah.
but you can't always follow that. So
Yeah.
whatever comes next, you kind of have to take.
Just take it as it comes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good way to live life.
Yeah.
Another question that we always ask because it's super important in getting to know people is, what is your zodiac sign?
Yeah. So my zodiac sign is, I'm a Virgo,
Uh-huh.
and I have no idea about zodiac signs. So I know that you're super into it,
Yeah.
and I know other people are too.
Right.
I just have no idea.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, what characteristics are that of Virgo?
So Virgos are usually more structured. They're planners. But it's interesting because you just said that you're trying to not live life according to plans.
Yeah.
But I think that aspect of a Virgo is more so just you like to know what's going on, like what your next move is.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you're not planning like far in advance, you know that you're going to be set for the time being.
Yeah.
So it's more just about having some sort of structure to your life. Virgos are usually like, I don't want to say like people person, because with Virgos, it tends to be more so like you'll be nice and cordial to other people, but that doesn't mean you're going to like go out of your way to like get people or to try to get people to like you. Like if you meet somebody and you vibe, that's it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just like, okay, cool, we can exist in the same space.
No, yeah. I think the latter part of it
Yeah.
kind of makes sense. The beginning, I don't know. I don't like to make plans.
Right.
Like people that know me
Yeah.
know that if we're trying to make a plan, I'm not going to do it. I'll show up. I'm very punctual, and if somebody makes a plan, I do my best to be there.
Yeah, abide by it.
Yeah. But I won't be making those plans.
Right.
That's just not me.
So you'll stick to the plans. You're just
I'll
not
stick
gonna
to the
make
plans.
the plans.
I'm just not going to make them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then what was the latter part?
Like the way that you interact with people. It's like you'll be nice, but you're not gonna like kind of beg for people to like you.
Yeah.
You're just kind of like you're chilling.
I think that's very true. I tend to try to get along with most people and try to see their vibes and see if we kind of match in that way.
Right.
And if we don't, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just I probably won't really interact with you that much. But either way, like I try to at least be nice to people.
Of course.
But yeah.
And generally, like Virgos are likable people. Like I would
hope so.
Yeah, I mean, clearly you're on the show. But these past few weeks, we've actually had, I think, Virgos back to back be on the show, and I'm like, I was realizing, especially like today, I was like, that's an interesting trend, because like you guys have all been people that like I immediately was like, hey, these are like decent people to have like in your bubble.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, Virgos are easy to get along with for the most part.
I think so.
Yeah.
Like I said, I have no idea about zodiac signs, so I am the worst person to ask.
Do you like believe anything that has to do with zodiac signs, astrology, horoscopes, all of that?
I find it interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say I believe in it.
Got you.
Yeah, it's just too much.
Right.
And you're like, can't really mold people into like a description.
Yeah.
Or
especially almost like 8 billion people and only 12 personalities.
Yeah,
like, it's a little bit much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a hard sell. I like astrology more so kind of on a hobby-ish type level, just kind of like it's cool to know people's signs, because sometimes it does line up and you're like, whoa, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Everyone that I know that's this sign kind of acts like in a similar way. But the people that are like, oh, I can't do this today because my horoscope said not to, it's just like, bruh.
Come on. Yeah.
You know that gif of Britney Spears where she's like, choose your own destiny?
Oh, yeah.
That right there.
No, I mean, yeah, I don't bash it.
Yeah.
I might bash it just to be funny, because people know that.
For the jokes.
For the jokes.
Yeah.
And if I ever say something to somebody, don't take it personally. It's just me trying to get a laugh.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's for the laughs. And I get why people, you know, like to look at that type of stuff. I think a lot of it is like, even with religion, you know, stuff like that. It makes people have a purpose.
Right.
But at the end of the day, I'm like, you can kind of make your own.
Right. Like you can create your own belief system, not necessarily stick to something that's like already established.
Right.
Yeah. Interesting. Very interesting. All right. And last question is, give us a song to listen to. What's something on your playlist?
Yeah. So recently I've been kind of into the like Spanish, like folklore type of vibe. So this one is Sabes, Quererme by Natalia Lafourcade. And I don't know, I just think this is a really vibey song. It's just a little bit different than what I usually listen to. Right. Usually, you know, rap, hip hop, or lounge rap or stuff like that.
Right.
But I've been kind of feeling these vibes a little lately, so.
Like we said, you have graduated, you have like set your place here, so tell us a little bit about life after college.
Yeah, so it's definitely a lot different than living on campus. After you kind of go into the workforce,
Mm-hmm.
it kind of hits you all at once.
Yeah.
So I think the biggest challenge was trying to adjust yourself to a different environment, right?
Right.
So I had to find a place, especially up here. It was a little tough because I didn't have
Oh, right.
family. I, kind of had to do it on my own.
Mm-hmm.
But a few people helped me out throughout the way, but for the most part, it was like trying to figure it out myself.
Yeah.
So I didn't really know exactly which area I wanted to stay in.
Mm-hmm.
Figured I wanted to stay a little closer to work, but
Right.
not exactly in Hartford.
Okay. Yeah.
People were like, "Oh no, don't stay in Hartford. There's nothing to do."
Right.
And they're right. Hartford's a ghost town, even after dark,
Jeez.
even after 7. Like there's nothing to do.
Really?
And you would think, like,
Hartford's a pretty big name city.
yeah. But friends that stay in Hartford, they're like, yeah, it's just dead. So I decided to stay outside, a little bit outside,
Yeah.
Manchester. So it's pretty quiet. It's nice.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the adjustment to work was
Mhm.
a little difficult, just because at Travelers it's a lot older
Right.
people that work there.
Got you.
So it was a little hard to find people my age.
Right.
And once that happened, I guess it was kind of fine. But
Up until that
up
point,
until
it was just
that
the
point,
adjustment period.
yeah. Also, bills suck.
Oh, dude. I
Having
bet.
to pay like rent and like gas and water, and you kind of figuring that on your own.
Yeah.
So that sucked. Taxes here are mad crazy.
Yeah, they're way higher than NC, right?
Yeah, like super high. So if you're listening to this and you want to stay in Connecticut, just make sure that you are aware of the taxes up here.
Right.
They're crazy. But yeah, so finding a place, getting to know new people outside of the people that I knew from school.
Yeah.
Um,
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, so, when I came here, I primarily hung out with a lot of the scholars,
Mm-hmm.
the people that aren't
Right.
from Connecticut.
Right.
So that was a big mistake. Not a mistake in terms of,
Yeah.
finding them, but in terms of
Like
not
networking and getting to know the
getting
area.
to know people from here. So that was tough.
Right.
And then just adjusting to work.
Yeah. Because there's just so much more, I guess, accountability on your part now. You're entirely responsible for yourself. And like you said, you don't have family up here. Like you have your friends that you know from here, friends that you know from work. But like as far as like adulting, you're entirely on your own.
Yeah, you're on your own, and it makes you grow.
Yeah.
You kind of have to figure things out on your own.
Yeah.
Make doctor's appointments.
No.
Yeah,
Having to
you're
call by
like-
yourself.
That's how you know you're grown. That's how you know you've left the nest.
Yeah.
Is when you have to call yourself to the doctors and be like, hey, I need a doctor's appointment.
Right. Can I get a
yeah.
one doctor's appointment, please?
Yeah. And that's
Yeah. No, and you, like you said, you're in another state, so it's not even like you can call home and be like, hey, can you call the doctor for me? Like,
right. And even
you
then
know,
I would
you
have
know.
to do it. Like my parents would be like, hey, can you make this appointment
Right.
for them? So I think I find it easier doing stuff for other people.
Right.
Like I'm like, yeah, you need help. Like let me help you
Yeah.
out. Like let's do this. Let's do that.
Mhm.
But when it comes to something that I have to do, I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm super lazy.
Right.
And I'm like, I'll do it last minute.
Yeah.
But yeah, it sucks.
Yeah.
But the money's good, and
Yeah.
so
That
that helps
traveler's
out.
money, though.
Yeah, traveler's money.
Yeah. And did you get, you didn't spend very much time, like, out of school before this either, right? You did community college?
Yeah, so I graduated high school in 2013.
Yeah.
So I did right after I graduated.
Mm-hmm.
I went into community college. I wanted to go to a 4-year school.
Right.
But at the time we didn't have the funds to,
Mhm.
do that. And
As it goes.
DACA had just came in
Yeah.
to effect in 2012, and then I applied 2013. So it
Yeah.
definitely worked out for me
Of course.
to where right after high school I was able to work,
Yeah.
and I was able to go into community college. Had a couple of scholarships kind of help me pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the time, community college, they didn't know exactly what to do with DACA students.
Yeah.
They weren't sure if they were going to charge us out-of-state tuition
Right.
or in-state tuition. So I did a year doing in-state because they didn't know what was going on.
Right.
And then once they caught up, they were like, "Oh, you have to pay out of state."
Wow. And that's for community college.
That was for community college. So basically, I was paying kind of four-year
prices for
community college.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Luckily, I had a couple of scholarships.
Yeah.
Parents helped out a lot. I took on a job as well to try to help with that.
Right.
And luckily, right before I graduated community college, I actually was taking one last class because they didn't offer it in the fall.
Yeah.
So I had to take it in the spring.
Okay.
I was like, damn, like, can you guys just let me take this class?
Right.
They're like, no, we only offer it in the spring.
Wow.
And so that was very lucky because I was like, well, let me look for a scholarship to help me pay for this last class.
Yeah.
And that's when I found this one.
Got you. Yeah.
So if I maybe would have graduated in the fall,
right,
I wouldn't have looked.
Yeah, you never would have found it.
I never would have found it. So
things happen for a reason.
Yeah.
And
so
here you are.
Yeah. So right after I graduated, I came here 2016. And the rest is history, I guess.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's crazy how that works out. Like, just even thinking about the adjustment to like real world and being on your own and being responsible for yourself, like that's crazy.
Yeah, it's a steep learning curve for sure. Yeah.
Because also like I don't particularly think that I'd want to go back to NC.
Yeah.
Just to begin with, just because I feel like, especially because of my like current career path, like I'm gonna need to be somewhere where like there's more opportunities in jobs and like production and stuff like that. And so like to go back home, like Wilmington would have been like the spot, right? But,
Wilmington has a lot of that.
So yeah, Wilmington was huge for like film and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, their film program. One of my friends went to Wilmington University.
Wilmington.
And she was doing film.
Yeah, so originally I'd gotten into UNC Wilmington, but those prices though.
Yeah.
But yeah, so didn't get to do that. And then my plan was like, okay, maybe not that. Maybe try again in a few years for like the School of the Arts for film or something like that. And then I think our like senator decided to cut state funding for like liberal arts scholarships and for like just basically the arts in general. And so like a bunch of studios and stuff started moving to Georgia.
Okay.
And so it's like, okay, so now I have to either go to Georgia or New York.
Yeah, I was going to ask you,
California.
Georgia or New York? Like Georgia's huge, especially now with a lot of like the films moving there, a lot of films being produced there. And obviously you have, I think CNN is there.
Yeah.
So you have like a lot of communications
There's just a lot
jobs.
down there, yeah.
Yeah,
So.
and obviously New York is New York. So.
Of course.
So where do you see yourself kind of going?
So originally, like I said, I wanted to work in film, but like through these classes and just through having to like weigh all these other options, I really wouldn't mind working in TV or like even now with this show, like working in radio would be cool. But New York is definitely like a big option, especially since I'm already up here.
Right.
So it's like, okay,
makes sense.
Maybe by the time I graduate, things will be different. New York will be like a realistic opportunity.
Yep.
If not, well, not necessarily moving back home, but going just, that little bit further south to Georgia, seeing what's available there, because it'll be in an area close enough to something that's already familiar.
Right.
So New York or Georgia are definitely, I think, either one of those is going to be the next step after here.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll see what happens, but just in production is where I think at this current point in time, what I know I want to work in.
Where you want to see yourself in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I've tried like other stuff too, like graphic design is something that I did for a bit, and then
can we just your work is crazy. Obviously I follow you on social media and stuff, and whenever you post stuff on your Snap, insane.
Yeah,
your NASA. I think you have a NASA kind of redesign poster, not poster, but like painting.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah, it says bruh in the NASA letters. Yeah, it's one of my favorite things I've made.
So, you're just super creative with a lot of things.
Yeah, thank you. So maybe something in that. I know like there's always jobs in graphic design and like page layout and stuff like that. So like hay opciones, but I'm being stubborn right now. I'm like, I want to work in production, of course.
But if that's what you want to do, definitely pursue it.
Yeah.
I knew I wanted to do tech since like high school. So
really,
that was a huge.
What sparked your interest?
I took this one class. So actually, I didn't really. I thought I wanted to go into like the health field.
Okay.
But then I found out I'm super scared of hospitals. Like I've literally fainted twice at hospitals, and every time I get my blood pressure checked.
Yeah.
It's super high. Dude. And they're like, yo, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, just hate
terrified.
being here. So that was out of the picture.
Yeah.
And then I took a what was it, like it wasn't a web design class in high school. It was more a multimedia class.
Got you.
So we kind of did some web design, some animation, like motion picture animation, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Video editing. One of the projects was to create a website.
Oh, sick.
And she literally was like, just create a website. Here's kind of a template.
Yeah.
But you can do whatever you want.
Right.
And at the beginning, it was pretty tough. I was like, I have no idea. This is new language. I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
But I went home, got on YouTube, and then I figured it out. Right. And you could see like all the changes in real time, and I was like, "Yeah, this is what I want to do. This is the field that I'm gonna want to go into." Because you kind of have that like immediate response when you're doing something,
right?
Which is pretty cool. And so I was like, "Okay, this is the field that I want to go into."
It's really, really cool to like be able to see the results of your work as you're working on it.
So I know you did kind of some like HTML, CSS, web design type of thing.
Yeah, I gave it a try. Like back in the day, obviously MySpace and Tumblr, I think, is the way that a lot of us got into it.
Yeah, MySpace was literally had us playing with like 6-figure jobs or like salaries.
Just casually.
Yeah, casually, and nobody knew.
Bro, it's like, I just want to have the right song play on my profile. Like, what?
You're over here like coding a song into your profile and not even knowing it.
You don't even realize what you're doing.
Yeah, not even knowing it.
Yeah, no, but like, I think I told you this before too, like, it was super cool and it's super interesting, but just like, to me, imagining just having that be my entire life, just always behind a screen.
Yep.
I feel like I don't have the attention span for it. And like, as fun as it is, like, I get tired of like one project like the entire time. So it's just like, I don't know if I can make a job out of it.
Really, it's not it.
No. But like I said, props to you for doing it because it is super, super cool. And I'm glad that like you found something that like get the resultado because you're obviously doing something similar right now with it. So yeah. All right, so let's do another music break, and then we'll transition topics to something else.
Yeah.
So what are we listening to next?
So this one's one of, I've been playing this song a lot. It's super dope. This one's Tribe by Bass and J. Cole. You know I had to put some J. Cole in there.
Of course you had to.
Cole World, NC Rep.
You got to do it.
Yeah.
You got to do it.
So this is J. Cole.
J. Cole, always a good way to go.
Always.
Always, always, always.
Cole World.
You already know. Especially out here in Connecticut, it's a Cole World.
Yeah.
All right, so very important topic of discussion. And I'm surprised it hasn't come up on this
I think
show,
this is the most important topic.
Yeah, like there's nothing else. Not even the zodiac signs can top this. The Tesla truck.
The Tesla
truck, bro.
The infamous Tesla truck.
So my first I guess bit of exposure to it was actually before the Tesla truck came out. This YouTuber Simone Gertz, she had a Tesla.
I know what you're talking about.
And she turned it into a truck because she just wanted a pickup truck. And Elon Musk found out about it. He was like, "Yo, that's kind of like really sick." And so I saw whenever the actual Tesla truck was announced, like they tweeted each other, and I'm like, they're aware of each other's existence. Amazing.
I think he invited her, right?
Yeah.
To the event.
Yeah, she was there.
Yeah, I saw her video too, and apparently they invited her, but they didn't want her to bring her Tesla truck.
Right.
I think she named it Truckla.
Truckla. Yes.
They didn't want her to bring Truckla. I guess they were like, yo, like she's gonna take the spotlight.
Right.
I think she took it anyways.
She did.
Yeah.
She drove Truckla so she could get a picture of it with the actual
Tesla truck. Yeah, that was pretty dope.
Power move.
Yeah, she was like, we took it anyways.
Yeah, she's amazing. What do you think about the Tesla truck, the real one?
Yeah, so to be honest, at the beginning, obviously I saw it on Twitter.
Right.
And
where we see all of the things.
I was like, people are roasting it.
Yeah.
And so I was like, yo, this kind of looks really dumb.
Right.
I was like, what is going on?
Somebody said it looks like the car you draw when you're 5 years old.
Yeah. It was like, they just had some like little kid draw this and then make it up.
Right.
But to be honest, it's grown on me.
Yeah. Not gonna lie, it's kind of slick.
Yeah. I was like, wait, maybe if you like squint, it looks really cool.
Yeah.
No, but it's definitely grown on me
throughout
like videos and actually seeing the inside and just seeing how much it can actually pull.
Yes. Dude,
and so
it's such a powerful car.
I mean, it's an electric car, so also sustainability, like
of course.
sustainability.
Yes.
But yeah, I think, and it's a lot bigger than what it looks in the picture.
Yeah, you see it and it just kind of looks like they did it for the clout, but then you see everything that's capable of, and you're like, hold on, they might have just did something.
Yeah, and it's not that. Did you see how much it was going to be?
Not mad expensive, right?
Not mad expensive. I think the base model was like $40K.
Yeah.
For the base model, and then I think if you put it down $100, like you get in line to be able to purchase it. Right. So that's not bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, $40K for a truck, that's pretty doable.
Right.
Especially because it's competing with, Ford F-150s and like different brand trucks and stuff. But for that price and the ability to pull so much, and obviously being electric,
right,
it's a pretty good price.
And it's not bad. Like whenever you look at the videos of how it drives, it's like a really like smooth driving car.
Slick.
It looks a little bit like the DeLorean from Back to the Future. Yeah. Not gonna lie. I would get it just for that.
And supposedly, the base model is like, it gives you how much, like how many miles? Like 200 something?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then I think there's
250 plus.
The performance and the higher end models, 70K, I believe.
Okay, so it's 40K, 50K, 70K.
Yeah. 70K. The 70K gives you like 500 miles.
Yeah, and for it to be
insane.
Fully self-driving, you just tack on 7,000, which at this point, like,
might as well.
Pocket change.
Like, might as well at that point.
Right.
Yeah, so it's definitely grown on me. I definitely like the design.
I remember whenever they first came out with the windows, and he like was like, look, they're indestructible, but he like smashed them.
They messed up. Like, they definitely messed up. I think they were testing it backstage. Mm-hmm. I think Elon tweeted something afterwards where it shows them testing it and throwing I think it was like a metal ball at the window, and it wasn't breaking. Like they've tested it and it wasn't breaking, and it was just a fluke. The actual event. And the actual event, it messed up.
They just hit it one too many times.
Yeah, they did. They not only did it one time, they did it twice.
Right.
He's like, wait, maybe the front window is just messed up. Let's try the back window, and that one breaks too. Ugh. I was like, oh no.
Entire heart goes out to it. And I saw people roasting him for that, and I'm like, even if the window broke, like that's still like a monster of a car.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah, I don't know, it's insane. But I will say, I felt the same way about Truckla. At first, I hated it. I was like, Chrissy, or
like, what are you doing?
Let's analyze. Take a step back and just ask yourself why.
But, I think that one was more of a side project. Yeah, it looked super. It was okay.
Yeah,
I didn't like it, but I like the concept, right?
Yeah,
the whole concept of let me take something that a lot of people like as like Tesla cars, and do something different with it.
And the fact that she managed to pull it off.
Right. What
insane.
Is her channel? I just saw her video. Does she do
so she does a lot of she works a lot with robots, and at first she kind of got famous on YouTube because she would make really bad robots that just did stupid stuff. So she had one that was just like a hand and it just kind of like spun and like slapped you. She had I think she had one that was like supposed to be able to do your makeup for you, but it's awful. It has no coordination. It doesn't
It's just hitting your face.
Yes, basically.
That's awesome.
So she just did a lot of that, and she like started to go viral. She started to get famous. I think she was on like Stephen Colbert a few years ago. So like she just like grew in popularity, and of course the whole Truckla thing like kind of brought her into like mainstream popularity. But yeah, she just does a lot with that, and she's like crazy smart too. Like obviously to be able to pull this off.
Right.
But there's so many good concepts out there, even though they're mad dumb.
Yeah.
But
I think it's all in the eyes of the beholder, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think a lot of it is hype too.
Right.
Like even with the truck, at the beginning I'm like, yo, I hate it because everybody hated it.
Right.
And then I'm like, there's a few people that are liking it.
Yeah.
I kind of see it. Right. I kind of like it.
It kind of does sway your opinion.
Yeah. And I'm not even a truck guy. Like I'd never even considered myself getting a truck.
Right.
My dad loves trucks.
Of course.
But I was like, no, like a car that's usually more my style. Yeah. And then I'm like, you know what? This truck looks pretty cool.
It's not bad.
I don't know if it's the tech in it.
Yeah.
The tech guy in me would be like, yo, you can just upgrade the software and, get new features.
Such a masterpiece.
Yeah. I'm like, that might be it.
Yeah.
It might be the tech.
It is impressive, to be fair. And honestly, like with this lifestyle of having to go back and forth, to have a self-driving car, like for 15-hour drives and just be able to put all your stuff in it, like Let's go.
I think the only issue I have with like Teslas or like electric cars in general
Right.
is the fact that you have to, like, if they're not great for road trips, right?
Yeah.
Like if I want to go on like a 10-hour road
You
trip,
have to charge your car.
you have to charge it. You have to, like, after so much time, you have to
Right.
get out and wait like an hour for it to charge.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I kind of just want to get there.
Yeah,
You know?
because some people are the type, like my dad be the type to, whenever we drive, he'll stop at every rest area just, like walk around, stretch your legs. I'm like, can we just like do it like de un jalón? Like
Yeah.
I'm just trying to go.
I'm trying to get there. And I know their infrastructure is a lot better now,
Yeah.
where you see charging stations
Yeah.
everywhere. Like there's one here at the
Yeah.
church.
Yeah.
There's like electric car charging station.
Right.
In Manchester, there's a whole like parking lot of Tesla charging stations.
Yeah.
So I don't think finding a charging station's an issue anymore.
Yeah.
It's
just about having to actually stop and charge your car.
Yeah. And I think they wanted to, somebody was like, hey, like, why don't you, because on the back of the truck, they have, like, it closes.
Yeah.
So somebody asked Elon if they would put a sunroof
Okay. Yeah.
to be able to, like, charge.
Oh, like solar panels?
Yeah, like solar panels. So it would be able to charge. And I think
Right.
they're going to do that with, like,
Dude,
the
that's
higher end
genius.
model. Which makes sense because
Yeah.
a lot of people that own trucks
They're-
have them outside.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. And they're always out here and like out and about.
Yeah.
Honestly, like I feel like as a worldwide population, we sleep on solar panels. Like the sun is literally right there.
Yeah.
And obviously like it's an expensive adjustment to make, but once they're like installed, like they're cheaper to maintain, right?
I don't know.
I think so.
They might be.
I think like overall it's a more efficient system, and so like if you could just charge your car by driving it, like why not?
I don't know. I think you get into some issues in terms of when people say, oh, if we move to electric vehicles, obviously gas is terrible for the environment. But
it's a huge industry.
Yeah. And I don't know. With the batteries that are powering these cars, after a few years you're gonna have to replace them.
That's right.
And how do you get rid of those batteries though?
Yeah,
like that's another waste.
Right.
So
right.
you get away from gas, but then you're creating a whole new
problem
problem with like batteries, and how do you dispose of that like hazardous material?
That's right.
So you're like, oh, this is great, but
how great is it?
Yeah,
like,
how
there's
great
always
is
a
it?
catch.
Right. And even with like charging them,
how
do we get electricity? Right.
Yeah.
so,
not wrong.
So it's like a whole circle, and you just like choose the best of both worlds.
Lesser of two evils.
Yeah, lesser of two evils. But yeah, it's.
So I don't know. I feel like we can see the future. We're just not there yet.
Yeah.
Kind of like the whole concept of a Tesla truck. The concept is there.
Right.
The execution is what we gotta wait and see.
Yeah.
But like I don't know. As far as new tech goes, I'm always like mad hyped to see what people come up with. Like even from like the dumbest of things to things like this, like the self-lacing shoes based on the Back to the Future ones. Like that exists now because somebody wanted them, and now that's a thing.
Did Nike do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Air Maxes.
Yeah, the Air
It's
Max.
like crazy.
Yeah.
Like someone really was like, but what if we actually made it? And that's the thing. Someone was like, yo, a Tesla truck. Now we have a Tesla truck. It's like, what are the limitations?
Yeah.
Everything is happening all the time.
True.
But like, I remember kind of off topic, but just like there's always an issue too. Cause do you remember, I don't know if you ever saw this like news story, but it was like a Google Watch and it was supposed to be able to like track your health and stuff. And I think it ended up like on the internet, they started calling it the vampire watch because like it would also like test your like blood and stuff. And it would just kind of like take your blood like as you were wearing it, and it's just like, wait, so what's going on with like that databases of like like kind of like with the ancestry test, people get concerned about like their DNA.
What is
the
it, 23andMe?
Yeah,
I find that so I have opinions on that.
Go ahead, tell me.
I would never do that.
Yeah,
even though the government has all my information. I'm like, but
you would never willingly give
I would never willingly do it. I see why people do it.
Yeah.
Because people are curious, naturally curious, and they want to figure out, oh, where did my ancestry come from? Like, where did I come from? But it's just tech companies, or like just companies in general,
right?
Yeah, it's like I don't trust
the corporations
them. I don't
information.
not at all. Just because they have a track record of not keeping our data protected.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
So.
kind of falling into the wrong hands type situation.
Yeah. Did you ever see that documentary on Netflix called The Great Hack?
I don't think so.
So it's this documentary. It's really cool if you have time.
Yeah, for sure.
Go on Netflix, type in The Great Hack.
Yeah.
It's about the 2016 election.
Okay.
So the Trump campaign,
Yeah.
they had a contract with Cambridge Analytica, which is a UK based company,
right,
data analytics company. So the way this worked is that Cambridge Analytica was able to get information from Facebook
right?
users.
Yeah.
I think it was like 500 Facebook users. But because they had developer like credentials and they could get pretty much those users' information and those users' friends' information,
right,
they were able to get like 87 million people's information.
Like the friends of friends thing just
kept so just like exponentially you could get a lot of people's information on Facebook. So they used that information to target ads to certain people on Facebook.
Kind of like to try to instill certain reactions in certain like demographics, right?
Yep. So that's huge. Like, first of all, it's a huge data security breach, issue. Right? Yeah, breach. And then obviously I think whenever we take applications and stuff for granted, and we don't really read the fine prints, we're just giving our information out to all these companies.
Right.
But data is so valuable.
Yeah.
Like, do you ever wonder why we don't have to pay for Facebook? Like, why do we don't have to pay for Twitter?
Right.
That's because obviously they run ads.
Of course.
But they run ads on our information.
Oh, exactly. And they're gaining so much more like knowledge on like the users and like for whatever the database is, like whatever they're going to do with it, they're learning so much. And it's like we're all playing into their little experiments just for the memes.
For the memes. You know what? Take all my information. I just want memes. That's why
I just want to see like top 100 vines of 2016 video.
Yeah.
You can have like literally my entire life. Just let me watch this video real quick.
Yeah. Like take my first unborn male child. Like I don't care. Just let me watch these memes.
Dude.
Yeah, but that's why I deleted Facebook.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm no longer on Facebook. And they make it super hard. I was like, okay, delete. Do this.
Right.
They're like, are you sure? Are you sure you want to leave?
Have to, like,
I was
delete
like,
and
yes.
deactivate, right?
Yeah. And they were like, okay, well, we think you might come back. So we'll delete it in 30 days.
Right.
So you have 30 days to come back and reactivate it.
Right.
After those 30 days, they say they delete all your information.
But it's all there.
Yeah, it's pretty much there.
Even with the what is it, the time machine site, the web archive, like you can still pull up like everyone's old pages and all of their information is still like, right there archived.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And now that Facebook owns so many other things, Instagram does that too.
Yep.
I think WhatsApp and Snapchat also do it. Like it's so hard to delete your accounts now. Cause I remember I had made one for like, I think it was just kind of like, I was trying to make an art page or something, right? And I had to typo in it. I didn't feel like having to like go and update my information because it wanted me to like verify it with my email and my phone number. I was like, that's a lot of work. I'll just make a new account. So I tried to delete it, and it literally took me like the 30 days.
They hide it so well too.
It's crazy.
I had to Google it. I was like, how do you delete Facebook account? You had to go into like mad settings.
Yeah.
And in order to get to this like button at the end.
Right.
To be able to do it.
Crazy.
Insane.
I know, and like I only have Facebook right now. I'm obviously memes, right? But like, because that's where most of my family is at, right? And like, especially family that doesn't live like in the area, in the States even. And so that's how I keep up with them. And like, everyone's like, oh, I just use Facebook for family. And I'm like, but don't you realize you're giving Facebook all of your family's information this way? And it's just like, you're constantly battling like.
Yeah, and it's a battle because it's such a big platform.
Yeah.
It's got like 2.8 billion users. That's a lot of people.
Massive.
And you know, especially for us that we have family in other countries, it definitely helps with keeping up with them.
But at what cost?
But at what cost? And so that's the hard part of trying to get rid of it, right? Mm-hmm. You're like, like I really don't need it. I don't use it.
Yeah.
But it does help me keep in contact with those people.
It's just kind of like a good option to have, even if we don't make use of it for that option, right? Like, I can't tell you the last time I had like a real conversation with my cousins or anything, but I have it in case I need to. I'm not doing it, so why does that account still exist?
Yeah.
But like from the start, like my last name I don't think is on any of my social media, like on purpose. Like my dad has been like into tech like since I could remember. Like he's the one that's taught me pretty much everything until like we got to like this point of technology where we're all like learning together.
Right.
But from the start he was like, you got to think about privacy and concerns, and anyone can look you up, and if you're posting pictures everyone can see, like et cetera, et cetera. So like him and my mom, neither of them have like their real names on Facebook. My sister's the only one of us that has her like real name, like her full name on anything. And so I'm like, bro, people are going to find me through your page.
They're going to know.
They're going to know related.
My FBI is going to find me.
The FBI man is just like laughing right now, acting like they don't know everything already.
He's like, that's how I found you. Through your sister's page.
Oh, tragic. Charlotte, how dare you?
Yeah, come on, Charlotte. What are you doing?
But yeah. All right. Well, good topic. Very, very interesting.
Yeah.
Like, people just need to like pay more attention, I think.
Yeah. It's, I don't know. It's just tech company. Not necessarily. Well, yes, tech company. I'll speak my opinion on tech companies just because that's kind of where
your area,
where my area is. But yeah, it's just they take so much data. Like even Amazon. I don't know if Amazon is huge. But people don't really know this. They obviously have the storefront, right? Like the Amazon store,
right?
You purchase whatever, but their biggest like profit comes from AWS, which is Amazon Web Services. So they have a huge like server, like integrated system, right? That systems run on, and they have a cloud, which systems information gets stored in, kind of like a database, which a lot of companies use. And so they contract with Amazon to keep their systems running and their information, like their users, their customers' information on that platform. So that's where most of their money comes from. It makes more money. Like that's it. That part of Amazon makes more money than the store.
Dude, that's crazy.
It's insane.
And no wonder Bezos is rolling in it.
Yeah. I have opinions on Bezos too. I know he kind of funded our scholarship a little bit, but I'm like,
Bezos,
eat the rich.
You heard it here first, folks.
No, and Amazon. So Amazon hosts the ICE. So yeah, they host the ICE like system,
right,
and databases and stuff. So that's a huge thing in the tech industry, especially as developers,
right,
and as people that are kind of building the future. I say we kind of have to be very aware of what systems we're building, right? And I think some employees from Amazon were calling it out and going on protests and saying, hey, you need to end this contract with ICE because like your system is enabling like families being separated at the border.
It's like literally affecting people's livelihoods.
Yeah. And so as tech people, we kind of have to be aware of what systems we're building for the future.
Because it can be misused in any number of ways.
Yeah. If you see something that's wrong, you don't have to build it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Otherwise, the machines will take over.
Yeah.
So as our time is drawing to a close, give us another song. One last one to close out the night.
Yep. So this one is a super vibey song. So this one's Surfin' by Kid Cudi, because I love Kid Cudi. That's my main guy.
Of course.
So yeah, Surfin' by Kid Cudi.
All right, here is that. Kid Cudi does not disappoint.
No, never.
Amazing. Well, as always, thank you so much for being on the show.
Of course.
Coming through.
Like I said, thanks for having me.
Of course, you're more than welcome to come back anytime. You drove here in the cold, in the snow.
It's freezing.
But any final statements, closing remarks, anything else you'd like to say?
No, not really. I mean, I would love to come back.
Of course.
This was super fun. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah.
We'll set up that schedule for next
we'll
next
set it
season.
up.
Ooh.
Next season.
Yes.
On the next season of
podKast with a K. All right, well, if you guys want to stay updated for whenever these episodes are uploaded, if you want to listen to them again or anything at all, that is on Twitter at podKast by K, stylized as PODKASTXK. And there's also a link to the playlist of all the songs that all the guests ever have recommended in case you heard a song that you want to hear. But this has been Podcast with a K, and I'm your host, Carla with a K, signing off. You've been listening to 90.1 WECS FM, and we'll see y'all, I guess, next year. New decade, new nonsense, new guests.
New decade.
I forgot.
Crazy.
That's crazy.
2020 is not a real year.
Nope.
We're running out of time to make the joke about, I can't see the future. I don't have 2020 vision.
No. You saw that?
Yeah. All right. Well, thank y'all so much for listening. Good luck with finals, and have a great holiday season.
Yeah. Peace out.
Farewell, y'all.